Welcome to Ope, I Found a Weird Show. I'm Laura.
I'm Beans.
And I'm Lauren.
And we are continuing our recap of season 2 of the TV show From. Today we are on episode 6 titled Pas de Deux. Thank you, Lauren and Beans, for the pronunciation because I
Pas
didn't
de
know how
deux.
to say it. Pas de Oh, see, I didn't
You
even
had
do
it
right.
so close.
Oh, I
Pas
was
de
so
deux.
close.
No,
Okay.
don't thank me. I had no clue.
Pas de deux.
And I could be wrong. I could be so wrong. I was wrong on the translation.
Well, I brought
Silly
the
French.
word up and I was like, how do you say this? Because I'm too country. Uh, I do not. I took Spanish in high school, not French. I don't know how to say French words. Um, but this makes sense because of what happens in this episode. This is a dance. What Lauren? What was it?
It said step of two. So
Okay.
a dance for two.
Okay, so this makes sense once we get into the episode why it would be titled that. But this episode starts where the last one left off, with Boyd talking to Tian Chen. So he had just come in, and we want to have a talk, and Boyd is trying to justify his decisions about Sarah to her, and Tian Chen's face says it all. She's pissed. And he said he has reasons, but he isn't justifying what Sarah did, and he understands if they hate him. And he says, he understands when this place takes someone you love. And he's choking up when he says this. And that got Tian Chen to soften up a bit, because
Yeah.
the whole
But
Abby
also,
thing.
some of the ways that he was going about this conversation just felt so manipulative to me. Like the whole oh, I understand if you want to hate me. And it's
Yeah.
stop it. Stop. But it works. I mean, she does soften up to him.
Yes. No, and I mean, you know what? Truthfully, I wouldn't put it past Boyd to be slightly manipulative. He's
a smart guy. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't put it past the great withholder of all truths, and the denier of communication, and the hider of secrets. You wouldn't think that he's a little manipulative?
Just a little?
Yep. Fair points. Fair points. So he tells her since he has gotten here, he has tried to make people feel safe. He thought if there were rules, they just, and they would just stick to what was right. But things are changing. And if they don't use everything they have to do whatever they can to get everyone home, that's what they've got to do. But Kenny comes in and he's like, what are you doing here? Kenny is so sick of people coming to talk to his mama. And Boyd, he gets up and he thanks Tian Chen for her time, and he heads back to the church to go talk to Sarah. When he walks in, all of the seats are gone, and you guys immediately clocked that. Excuse me? What did we redecorate?
I didn't. Beans got that. I was
Beans
just
did?
like, oh,
Okay.
nice, we're at the church, la-di-da. And she's like, where are
I
all the
was so
chairs?
confused. I was like, where are the chairs?
I was like, oh yeah, there should be chairs here, I guess. I don't know.
She said, well, Sarah's just redecorating. That's her new home. No. So all the seats are gone, and then we hear the music box over on a table, and we see it with its little broken leg. And Boyd looks at it, and then he looks back into the room, and there is a ballerina dancing. And Boyd goes up to her, and she even grabs his hand, and he holds her while she's doing her little spin. And then she stops and she looks at him dead in his soul, and then she opens her mouth and a bunch of worms start coming out. And then we flash to reality where Boyd didn't actually make it out of the diner. He collapsed onto the floor. And Kenny and Tian Chen are over there checking on him. He hit his head pretty bad. It's bleeding. And they get him up into a seat, and Tian Chen tells Kenny, take him to go see Christy. And Boyd said, I'm okay. And he gets up, but it's shaky. He can't really
His
walk on
legs
his
are
own.
buckling. He's like, I can totally walk there by myself. And the other two are just like, shut up.
Yeah.
You're clearly not able to do this.
Kenny's like, no, we're going to see Christy. And then
And
that
I
is
feel
our
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, Kenny is just so sick and tired of this. I just want freedom from these people that have hurt me, and he just keeps getting thrust back into the drama of them.
Right? He's like, I'm mad at you. Let me live in that. okay?
Give me,
Well,
like, 2 days to just be angry and not have to help.
nobody gets time to process anything in this town. You live with everything within the moment. You have no time. You better cry at night like Tien Chen does, because that's the only time you got to process and feel emotions. But that is our que sera, sera. So that's our intro. Um, at the colony house, they are taking stock of the food. They're like bringing it down to put in the truck, and they're going to take it to town to kind of like see where all the supply levels are. Dale is pretty snippy about it to Ellis. She better bring back some of these potatoes. And Fatima comes out to help load supplies. Ellis offers to help her, and she's like, I have it. And Dale makes a comment because she's like, you can see in her face that she's not pleased with Ellis. And Dale makes a comment about trouble in paradise, and Ellis ignores him. They finish loading up the truck, and you can tell that, like, no one is happy about giving up food. Um, but, like, really only, the people who notice, and Donna and Fatima and Ellis kinda know what's going on at this point. But Donna says that, "We'll be fine if we stick to our rations," and she also tells Fatima and Ellis that she'll be down at the Lou house dealing with this all night, so they are in charge of lockups. And Fatima says, like, "What should we tell the people about the food?" And Donna says, as l as little as possible for right now, and to tell them that they're working out a new system. So, at the clinic, Christy is messing with her hair, and there's nothing that's gonna fix that.
She's got
Uh,
so many regrets. She's hiding it well, but I know inside she's just crying.
it's weird. It's a weird haircut.
It just
I don't
doesn't fit. It's weird.
Yeah. It was nice long. Anyway, this is gonna be a thing every time she comes in for, like, the first time in an episode, or if, like, she's messing with her hair, I remember how bad her haircut is. But, she goes to look in Mary's bag for, like, a hair clip, when she comes across a booklet from a rehabilitation and treatment center. So Mary comes in, and Christy asks her, "What is this?" Mary gets upset. "Are you going through my bag?" And it appears that Mary has lied about where she was going on the bus. She said she was going to see her aunt, and Mary says, "Well, I didn't want you to worry, and it's not a big deal." And Mary says, the classic, "Everything is under control." And Christy pushes back, like, "You were on your way to rehab and you ended up here. Nothing about that is under control." Uh, you know, Christy says she was doing so well. What happened? When did she start up again? And Mary's like, don't do that. It's not that, but it's been a few months. And Christy's like, "Is it because I disappeared?" And Mary says, "It's because of a lot of things. But like, I was going to tell you." And then Christy, like, light bulb clicks, and she rushes off to the medicine cabinet. And Mary says, You don't have to do that." But Christy is pissed. She's like, "We have a very limited supply of medication and it's vital. So, like, we can't risk anything going missing." And Mary starts freaking out and trying to distract her. "Just stop. I was already going to stop so we can do that here. Stop panicking like I'm some junkie. And this is why I didn't tell you." Ma'am, you literally stole drugs the night before.
I think her reaction and, like, the hiding it and the reaction to Christy finding out is what, like, alerted Christy to, like, "Oh, shit, she could have stolen medication already," because if she truly, like, hadn't slipped up and already done it, she would not be having this big of, like, a, "No, like, everything's fine, don't look there, look elsewhere." Like, she would have been like, "Hey, like, by the way, I was headed to rehab, I'm working on it," and maybe even, like, proactively would have said, like, "I don't want the access, so, like, you should have a different code to it," or something. She would have not been freaking out like this.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
also her reaction is also indicative that she was going to do it again. Like,
Absolutely.
there's no reason she should have been throwing this much of a fit because you could have started a fire with that gaslight. Um,
Mhm.
like No, she was 100% going to do it again, and she had every intention to do it again, but I don't know if you guys realize, like, even during their little spat, the key word there was "again." When did you start up again? So this is a repetitive issue for this character.
Oh, yeah, it
Yeah.
was very clear this was a relapse, not
Mhm.
a first time thing.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the thing, like, one I think I don't know, it I understand that Christy has been distracted, but, like, if you know that your significant other has struggled with that, and then you have that in the next room, like, just for safety's sake, wouldn't you take some precautions? It's not like Christy didn't know that this has been an issue for Marielle. I
Probably, but also it's very dependent on, like, how long ago it was and how extensive it was, I would say. 'Cause, like, she also knows that she's a nurse now, so I I would've I don't know, I might have, like, brought it up? I don't even know. Yeah, I think it really depends on how long ago it was and
See,
what
like,
the addiction used to be.
for me, the fact that, she introduced herself as a nurse, like, to the one person when she was going through the cabinet, she's like, "I'm a nurse, it's okay." Right? We now know that this is a repetitive behavior of her. Is this potentially why she is no longer a nurse? Because ain't no nurse got that hair color.
That's
But
not
No,
necessarily
that's not
true.
true. My
it's
mom was
it's
a
not
nurse,
it's not
and she
necessarily
Like,
true,
what are you
but,
talking
like,
about?
let's be real here. Let's refocus. This is a show. And how many progressive women are on actually the casting crew and all of this, that, and the other? There's probably a bunch of old white men. So, but I'm wondering.
I feel like 10
No,
years ago, maybe.
well, I mean, okay, no, I'm not gonna say that comment, but I'm gonna avoid that. But what I'm trying to say is I'm thinking that at least I am. I'm piecing together a mystery behind this character. I'm almost willing to bet that she's a former nurse, and that's what caused the initial issue in the first place of her using. And it might be why Christy is as upset as she is, because she is very upset because, like, being someone who's been around addicts and people who have relapsed, yes, it's upsetting, but, like, if this is like a one time, like, "Oh, shit, you relapsed," there's a lot more empathy involved. So I'm wondering if there is more of a backstory that we haven't been told yet, is kinda what I'm trying to get to here.
no, and I'm sure there is. I'm sure that there is a significant amount of backstory with that we just don't know yet. But I think Christy is mad for for multiple reasons. One, Mary lied to her.
Mhm.
Two, she understands how important it is to have these drugs, right? Like to have something potentially bad go on with them would be a big, it would be a huge setback for
It'd be
everybody
a
in the town.
crisis.
Yeah.
Not It'd be just a full-on crisis.
I'm sure part of it is also, like, almost like the mourning of the fact that she's been alone as the sole medical person in this town and was like, "Oh, thank God someone is here that I can trust, who I know has this background as well." And now she doesn't know that she can trust her.
Right. No, that's true too, because a lot of
Very
pressure has been
valid.
on Christy. So, yeah. And Christy asks her point blank, like, "Did you take anything?" And I was a little surprised that Mary actually admitted it. That she admitted that she took some morphine.
I don't know that I'm gonna give her props for that because Christy was already looking in the medicine cabinet. She would probably have noticed the amount missing out of the bottle. So I think it could have just been more of a, "I'm caught either way, I might as well come clean and not add an additional lie."
True, true. But then immediately Mary gets defensive and she starts to walk away. And Christy asks, "Where are you going?" She said, "I'm going for a walk so you can hide your valuables from your junky ass girlfriend."
Yeah.
Okay, I roll.
Yeah. No manipulation here either. This is fine.
Yeah.
There are no
And
curtains, no need to look behind them.
yeah. And Christy tells her that she can't go outside because it'll be dark soon, so she storms off towards the basement. But yeah, and that would be tough. Because I would want space. If I was Christy, I'd want her ass to be out of there too. Like, no, 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 go on your walk. But like, also don't die, because I still love you as my fiance. But like, ugh.
But I need time. I'm a little mad at you.
Right. Where's the closest building that you'll be safe? Go there. Um, Kenny and Boyd are walking to the clinic, and Kenny points out the trees. Boyd says he noticed that too. The leaves are changing colors and falling off the trees. They've never seen that before. Weather
Weather!
theory, what? Yeah, so we are weathering. So Beans, the weather theory is kind of accurate because if they've
Mhm.
because Boyd and them have been here for multiple years.
Yep, and
So,
now they're finally starting to see, so I feel like I'm telling you, it was a loop and something broke, I think. It's my theory.
okay.
It's just my theory.
All
A
right.
dumb
Wait,
theory.
did I miss where they said sorry, did I miss where they said that hadn't happened the other years?
Yeah, no, they said this has never happened before. They have never seen the leaves fall off the tree, like change colors and fall off the trees like this. This has never happened before. So, yep,
And
weather
now
theory
that
was a
guy's,
thing.
like, real aggressive behavior about the coat totally makes sense. Now he's justified.
Can I say that when you first brought up weather theory, I was dying because I'm like, it's kind of a thing. And it seems so silly, right? But like, no, it is actually something that's going on.
It was just me
Okay.
being crazy, but crazy is crazy. Crazy
You
clock's
know?
crazy.
I would say the only reason it seemed crazy at the time was because 'cause they'd been there for, like, 2 days, and it was like, weather doesn't change that much in 2 well, unless you live in the Midwest, which you do. But,
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
We
yeah.
What are 4 seasons? We have, 50 of them a year, if not more. Uh,
Right.
but yeah. No, that's the thing though, like, it was a good catch, and we will see how that progresses through the next episodes. Because 'cause I'm sure that if it's getting colder, because that's what makes leaves fall off trees and change color, then that's going to affect them.
I did also notice, it wasn't this episode, but I think it was, like, the episode before or not, I don't know. I don't remember if I brought mention to it here at the podcast, but I was like, I just saw one of their breaths. So, like, it was cold enough to kinda see their breath, and that might have just been like a filmography error or whatever, but either way, I was like, "I saw that."
Eh. Yeah, I mean, it very much could have been like a hint to things coming. So, nope, love it. Love weather theory. One of my favorites.
I kinda feel like that crazy teacher from Fairly Odd Parents, "Fairies!" But, like,
So, Boyd tries to talk to Kenny, but Kenny doesn't want anything to do with that at all. And, he's like, you know what? You look like you're walking better, so I'm going to let you go the rest of the way by yourself. And then Boyd has like a pain attack in his arm. Kenny stops. He's like, what's happening? She's like, poor Kenny.
Heavy sigh for Kenny. Can't get away.
She's just like, can I
he
go
really just
now?
looked done with it. But, like, right when Boyd started having his issue, he just looked so done.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure he just doesn't wanna go to the clinic either because that's where Christy and her fiancé are, and he just wants time to himself
Yeah,
without all of this, like, reminder of things that he's lost.
yeah, absolutely. He just wants to make sure his mom's good.
I
That's
didn't
what
even
Kenny
think about
wants.
the destination sucking for Kenny too. I
Well, it's
didn't
like
even
a
think about
triple
that.
hit. It's like that's where his dad died, that's where the girl he really liked is with her fiancé, and that's where Boyd, the father figure who betrayed him, is going to be, like,
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Ouch.
No, our
yeah.
boy cannot catch a break. Poor Kenny.
And he's a trooper for just being like, "Ugh, fine."
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and so Boyd is over there like grabbing his arm, and oh my God, Boyd tells somebody something. He says, "It's starting to hurt now. You can't see them, but like I can feel them now." And Kenny's like, "What?" Like it freaks him out a bit. Um, but Boyd tells him that something happened to him when he was out in the woods. He has something in him now, worms crawling beneath his skin. Then Boyd starts to hear the music again, and Kenny does not hear it. So Boyd walks off towards it and sees the music box on like a rock, and they are right next to that root cellar. And the doors open, and a ballerina is inside, and she comes out and she smiles at Boyd before like going off to dance or whatever ballerinas do. And Kenny calls Boyd's name, And Boyd looks back and asks, like, are you seeing her? But she and the music box are gone. So,
And Kenny again is just like, heavy sigh. What the fuck are you going on about? Just go to the clinic, old man.
right. Like,
It
oh,
is also interesting because the first time we saw the ballerina, it was almost like a completely separate world, right? Nothing that was actually in his environment was there, whereas this time Kenny was. So I'm wondering if it's like one of those things that progresses really fast once it starts progressing.
yeah, I think so. Because, yeah, the first time was in his head. And then the second time, he's like in the real world with the ballerina. Very out of place in Nightmare Land. But I do think it was Beans who pointed out she was wearing white.
Yeah. I do love how you said she's off to dance or whatever ballerinas do. Uh,
I don't know. I mean, it's never
all
been
they do
my
is dance.
forte.
They're not allowed to do anything else.
I assume so. So back at Colony House, everyone is locking down for the night. Ellis is walking through, making sure everything is good when he sees Fatima and he asks, like, hey, can I help? And she's like, nope, all done. And Fatima is putting out some weird energy. And
She is not happy with him.
no, she is not. And Ellis stops her to ask, like, are we okay? She's like, yeah, we're fine. Never a good sign. Never a good sign to get the yeah, we're fine. So Boyd and Kenny make it to the clinic, and Christy is checking over Boyd, and he- he's on a roll now because he's telling her what's up too. So he's like, look, we got the worms are bad at this point, and I'm crazy. So like I've got to tell people. So he's trying to explain what happened to her and telling her about Martin doing the whole my blood is your blood thing. And he knows it sounds crazy, but he has worms under his skin and something's coming for him. Christy doesn't see anything, and he tells her that the worms had been feeding on Martin for years, and he passed it on to Boyd because they wouldn't let him die. And like Christy doesn't believe him, which again, like, see, this is why I'm not even mad at Boyd for not telling anybody.
He I keep thinking, like, how would things have been different if he did? But I think he should have maybe shown people the worms because there have been multiple occasions where they've popped up under his skin, and if he'd just been like, "Hey, do you see this?" "Oh, nothing?" "Okay, then, like, don't tell people." But if they can see it, then, like, yeah, you got
True.
this.
Kind of one of those, "Hey, does my arm look weird to you right now?"
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So so Christy doesn't believe him and he says, "That's fine, but just promise me that if things get bad, that you'll put an end to things before they go too far." Like he
Wink,
doesn't
wink.
yeah. He doesn't want to live like Martin lived or die like Martin died.
Which is such BS because when Martin was like, "Kill me," he was like, "No, I'll save you." Like,
Yeah, Boyd couldn't do it. Now you're going
bud,
to put it on Christy?
like,
He doesn't wanna skip leg day for years.
I guess. I mean, no one's chaining him to a wall though. Like, he could still
Yeah.
do leg day.
That's why I'm still unsure why Martin was chained to a wall. Maybe we get answers to that, but we haven't so far of
Well,
how, like,
yeah.
yeah.
I
Um,
was also questioning though, like, Boyd was like, these things ate him from the inside for years. I'm like, he didn't really say that. Like, he didn't say
well,
anything about that. He looked emaciated and shitty, but that could have just been because he'd been tied to a wall for that long.
that's true because he had been there for years. But yeah, we don't know that it was the worms that did this.
I mean, maybe Boyd can just feel them eating him from the inside so he can make that educated assumption, but
Ew.
gross.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yuck.
No wormies, thank you. Um, so Christy goes to talk to Kenny. They both think Boyd has lost it. They haven't seen the worms and think he's been through a lot and he's probably going a bit crazy. Um, Kenny says this is how it started with his dad. There were moments he seemed like a different person and he would say things he would never normally say and they would rationalize it. He's tired or stressed. And Christy says it's too early to worry about that. There are cases where Parkinson's leads to dementia, but it happens way later on. So, I think part of Kenny's not believing is because of what happened with his dad. But no, also, like, it's just seeing is believing, you know? And nobody's seen
I
any of it.
I'm still just like seeing is believing unless you're already in Demon Land. Then I'd be like, okay, yeah, anything is possible at this point. Let's at least run with the theory before we just immediately write it off because yeah, sure, I can believe that there are demons that can be kept out of my house using a rock on the wall, but you having had some weird event in the woods and now having worms in your arms, it's too much for me. I'm out.
See, what they needed to do was they needed to go get the Demon Land interpreter, i.e. Victor. Be like, "Hey,
Mhm.
Victor, come on over. Eh, have you seen the wormies before?"
Have you heard of this before?
Yeah.
But also, this is like another thing where I'm like, a newsletter would be great because everyone can just log their weird Demon Land experiences and then everyone can be like, oh, so like weird shit's very normal here. Like things can teleport. Yeah, worms. Yeah, we can add that to the list of potential real things that happen here.
Yeah. You know what? See, they had it wrong. Like, the first thing they were looking for in those cars were wires. First thing I'm looking for is paper. Like, we need to document,
Mhm. You can't write it on the walls because the house will just collapse.
right? All that work down the drain.
Really upsetting.
So back at Tian Chen's house, Donna and the Matthews family are helping her preserve the food. Julie asks how long the food will keep, and Donna says that if they do it right, it can last a year. Jim gets concerned that this is all the food they have left. This is barely a month's worth. And Donna tells him, well, we've planted new crops. And Jim says, people need to know. And she should have told them sooner. And Donna says, all that'll do is make people panic like you're doing right now. And when was she supposed to tell him? When he was stuck under a house that fell on him? And then she remembers there are children. Um, so, she says, we're all just trying to do our best. And then Jim goes off on his little tangent. This is what they would want to increase their stress levels. And Ethan asks about the food. He's like, are we going to run out of food? And no, it'll be okay, buddy. Like, yeah. Jim, you're bad dad. Uh,
Also, I find it a little crazy that they're low on food and they're like, yes, let's have these kids who've never canned before
yeah.
help us do all this preservation stuff when it's well, I mean, I've never canned anything, but I think it's pretty easy to mess up. I don't know.
I have
I have a fear of canning shit and
I have
botulism.
yeah. I have for the same reasons I have also not canned anything. So,
I don't trust myself. I would give myself some horrible disease.
I have canned things before. It is both shockingly easy and shockingly difficult all at the same time.
Yeah.
so would you let a 9-year-old help you can? Okay.
Okay.
Well, there we go.
I wouldn't, but I don't trust myself, so that says a
I
lot
feel
about
like
me.
I feel like, I would do all, like, the hard parts, like, sanitizing the cans and, making sure, like, that everything's ready and they can put the stuff in.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. I guess they can fill the cans. I would just be like, someone who's done this many, many times is the one working on the ceiling. That's it.
Yeah. Like Ethan was doing like adding the salt to
Okay.
the
Yeah.
cans or
That's
to the
right. That's
jars.
right.
So,
Let them fill it, and then I'd do everything else.
maybe that's what they were doing cuz they want to make him feel involved.
West.
Uh but
Side quest.
Yeah, back in the clinic, Boyd is in a lot of pain. No wormies visible, but it still hurts. Then he hears the music again. The music box is on the nightstand, and behind one of the hanging sheets that they're like using as a divider in the clinic, he sees the silhouette of the ballerina dancing. And he gets up to go look, and when he pushes it aside, she isn't there. And she comes up behind him, so jump scare, and wraps her arms around him and then puts a hand over his mouth. Then that chick is strong. And she like being on point and stuff, she like throws him on the bed. And
Hey,
then
dancers are incredibly strong. I would not
that's
fuck with them.
yeah, that's true. And so they dance and they weightlift. But she throws him on the bed and starts to like choke and suffocate him. And then she disappears. So like this is progressing very quickly with the ballerina. She is up to no good. Uh and Boyd like jumps out of the bed cuz he's just been like choked on it And Mary comes in, and Boyd spins around and pulls his gun on her. And he immediately apologizes and puts the gun down. He's like, I'm setting it down. But he's still very freaked out. And now Marielle is freaked out too.
I mean,
Yeah,
rightfully
and, like
so. I would also be scared.
yeah, the moment that, like, the ballerina disappeared and such, like, we could see the gun on his hip, and both Beans and I were like, "Someone should take away his" Oh, he's already pulled it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, he put the gun down.
Yeah, but it was just, like, really funny. We're like, "Oh, there's a gun on him? Oh, shit. Oh, he's using it."
Yeah.
I don't know why
Okay.
they didn't take that from him the moment they got into the clinic. Like, why would you need that in the clinic anyway?
True.
Especially knowing he's seeing stuff because he had, like, mentioned it. Like, I'd be like,
Mhm.
yeah, we don't need that."
Yeah. Shit, Kenny should have took it on the walk in. Like,
Yeah,
boy,
exactly.
Exactly.
there's no real reason for you to have this right now.
But also, like, when he put it down and was like, like, stepping away, I was like, "Don't give it to her.
Like,
Neither of
"Oh my
you
god,
should
I
have
thought that
guns.
too."
Like, not her. She's gonna use it to try to get some drugs."
Yeah, yeah, you never know.
No, I immediately
Uh,
thought the worst of Mary as well at that moment. I was like, "Well, don't give it to her."
so back at Colony House, Ellis and Fatima are talking upstairs, and he tells her, like, every time she says that they're fine, it means that they aren't fine. And so she kind
Smart
of,
man.
right? Like, he's
I
reading
was
the room.
I was so impressed. I was like, "Wow, a man that's actually, like, aware of these things and, like, pays attention? Good on."
Yeah, no, I think Ellis is trying in this moment. I don't think Fatima is ready to really express why she's mad. I mean, she starts out that she's mad that he didn't tell her about Sarah. And he's like, well, my dad made me promise not to tell anyone. And she's like, I'm not just anyone. We're supposed to get married. We cannot keep things from each other. And Boyd should have never put you in that position. Sarah murdered people, and the fact he didn't tell anyone isn't right. And Ellis defends his dad a little bit, but she's like, no, Boyd made this place less safe by bringing her back, and Ellis should not have kept that from her. And he apologizes. He's like, I'm sorry, you're right. And then he's like, but this isn't about Boyd and Sarah, is it? And Ellis brings up, ever since that night at the sheriff's station, and then they hear like some yelling from downstairs. So they don't get to finish this conversation. But they head downstairs, and Dale is down there, and he's yelling at Elgin, and he's accusing him of taking extra food from the pantry. And Elgin says, I was not taking extra food. I was taking extra food from my backpack that I had and putting it into the pantry. But Dale's like, no, that can't be true. And Ellis and Fatima come down to try to calm things down. And Dale goes on, just keeps bitching while he's cutting these vegetables. And he's like, they're stealing. The magic radio tower didn't work. And now we have so many people that, we're running out of food. And Fatima's like, no one's stealing. And Dale tells her to shut the fuck up. And he's tired of her smiley, happy bullshit.
I gotta cut in and say this is of when Donna was like, "You 2 are in charge," I was like, "Why is she putting, like, 2 kids in charge? There are other I mean, they're not kids, but they're still, like, younger than everyone else there, besides Elgin." But I was like, "Why?" Like, I mean, I know they're main characters, but damn, like, putting a lot on these kids who are going through it, and then this this was just like "Oh, that's right. Everyone else is just crazy." So, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes more sense.
Can't put Dale in charge, that's for sure.
Can't put him in charge, and
No. I mean,
you
Donna
don't have a
did
ton of
punch him
options.
once, in the first
Yeah.
season.
Yeah,
Uh,
she did.
but Dale has been around since before Boyd came, because he was down in the room that they were in.
Yeah, he's just not leadership material.
No.
He's just crazy.
Yeah, Dale is a rough one. Oh, so after cussing at Fatima, I someday aspire to have somebody tell me that they're tired of my smiley happy bullshit. Like, okay. Ellis tells him to watch his mouth, and Dale says we can't have new people stealing what little food we have, and they have to go. And like with the knife in his hand, he walks up to Elgin and he's like, Get outside." And it's dark, it's night. So that's basically like a death sentence. And he keeps like yelling for them to go, and Elgin grabs his or Ellis grabs his shoulder to like try to get him to calm down, and he like swings around and stabs Ellis in the stomach. Now, I'm going to say that I was hoping that people would learn from Sarah that we
I
do
was
not
just thinking that.
swing around with sharp objects.
I was like, this is the second time that someone has been threatening one person and then stabbed or cut the person that
Yes.
comes to like pull them off that person. Like, weird that it happened twice.
Kids, we don't play with knives. Like, this is why. You're going to hurt somebody.
Right.
So Dale immediately is like, oh God, oh fuck, I'm sorry. In like the calmest tone.
Yeah. He's like, I didn't actually want to hurt anyone like that. Damn. My
Right. I
bad.
was just screaming for people to go outside at
So
night.
that way the
But like, I didn't
monsters
want to
could hurt
hurt.
them instead of me.
Yeah.
I don't think he was thinking. Let's be real. Dale does not have a lot
No.
going on up in his head.
No.
Yeah. I mean, look, he must be a sciencey person because he was talking about pocket dimensions, and we can get behind that. That's about
Yes.
all the things that we can get behind for Dale.
I don't know if it takes a sciencey person to talk about pocket dimensions, because I equally would not be surprised if a UFO blather came out of his mouth.
Oh,
Mm,
100%.
true.
And I feel like he's just lacking a bit of that like common sense and critical thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he's very book smart. I don't know. But yeah, I don't even think he really thought about, oh, if I tell them to get outside right now, the monsters will get them. I don't think he was thinking that far of like, oh, this is a death sentence. I think he was just like, I don't want these people in my house.
Yeah. Well, Fatima screams for them to get Dale out of here. Um, and as they are taking him away, he just keeps, I didn't mean to do it. Like, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. Um, and Ellis pulls the knife out, which I think we all were like,
I was
no.
screaming, don't, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't do that. Leave it in. You fucking idiot.
Yeah, because that's gonna just make it bleed more.
Yeah, it's
Like you
blocking
were,
all those like severed veins right now, but nope. You want to bleed out? Fine.
yeah, yeah. So Fatima puts pressure on it, and she like gets him to a couch, and it's bleeding really bad. But they're just trying to apply pressure and figure out what to do. So back at the clinic, Boyd is looking at the place Kenny's dad died, and Father Katri is back. And he tells him, some stains you can't wash clean. And Boyd asks him if they're all going to end up like that, like him. And Father Katri says, we all end up that way, Boyd, whether we're here or not. And he's like, no, 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 I'm not talking about dying, but dying with your insides on the floor, screaming while something tears you apart. The wormies are getting
Oof.
worse. Yeah. And Father Katri tells him, hey, I'm proud of you for asking for help and admitting weakness. You were so stubborn before, and you normally wouldn't do this. You would just try to work through it on your own. And the people upstairs probably think he's going crazy. And Boyd asks if he has uh if has he gone crazy, right? And Father Katri says, I don't know, you're standing here talking to a figment of your imagination, but hey, sometimes crazy is the most rational response you can have. But he did what he could. He tried. Not every story gets a happy ending. Boyd tells him he is Boyd tells Father Katri, you are still the worst priest I have ever met. And that is the moment that Kenny walks in and sees Boyd talking to himself. And he asks, like, who are you talking to? And Boyd says, no one, just thinking out loud. And Kenny's like not buying it, and he pushes him. And then Boyd finally is like, get out of my way. And Kenny shuts the door. And he's like, I am not leaving until I know that you are safe. Mary told us what happened upstairs. And Boyd's like, fine. I was talking to Katri. Like, I know how it looks, but something happened to me out there. And I came back with something inside my body. I don't understand it, but it's real. And I'm terrified. Thank you for being in touch with your emotions, boy.
For
About
real.
time.
It's about time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have done this earlier.
Right. We could have got here like 3 episodes ago, man. Stubborn as men. Um, Back at Colony House, Ellis is not doing good. They are trying to keep pressure on it, and they're going to get him to the clinic. because they have to. Like, if they don't get him to the clinic, he's gonna die. But Donna took the truck, and Fatima says that they'll get the van that's parked by the shed. And Ellis is like, it's too dangerous. Clara tells them that they're all clear, but Ellis doesn't want them to risk it. But like I said, truthfully, he's gonna die. So like Fatima does not care what Ellis thinks at this moment. She asks Elgin to help get Ellis up, and they get him up, but like one of the lookouts then says there's a monster coming up the hill, and Ellis kind of collapses in pain. And they're like, Fatima's like, fuck, what are we gonna do? And he's like, I can't run. And Elgin's like, I'll meet you at the steps. And he takes off. Way to go,
And
Elgin.
and right before he says, okay, he looks like he like closes his eyes and like takes a deep breath and he's like, God damn it, I shouldn't do it. I'm doing it.
Yeah. It's like, I'm gonna help. I'm gonna help. I might die, but I'm gonna do it. I cannot let Ellis die. I
I
cannot let
really
somebody die.
Yeah, I really like Elgin because he's definitely like I'm gonna help everybody and like do what I can to help the community instead of just myself. And like he's also like willing to listen to everybody, like the whole Sarah thing. Like he just seems like a good guy.
Yeah. No, I love Elgin. I think he's just a sweetheart. He just he's very selfless. Like
Yes.
yeah. So, but bless him, he goes outside and he runs to that van. And there are a few monsters that start coming out of the woods and start talking to him. And he gets in the van and he's searching for the keys and he finally finds them. And he gets it started as they are right there. They are right next to him when he starts it up. And then more monsters are coming out. So he drives to the stairs, and Fatima gets Ellis out of the house. And they get him into the truck or into the van, and then Elgin runs over to the other side, and like there are literally monsters like right at the windows, and Elgin starts driving off. So again, Ellis is losing a ton of blood, and now he's like, I can't breathe. So they have, which one of our friends who was watching this with us, Corvée, who we've talked about, made a really good point that this was all done in one shot, which I think was really effective.
It was terrifying.
Yeah, because they keep spinning to like Elgin driving and like hitting branches, and then back to Ellis and Fatima, and like I can't breathe, and she's like, you're fine, we're gonna be okay, we're gonna get to the clinic. Can you go faster? And then it keeps.
Right.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Well, and like when they would show Elgin driving, like they showed him, but it was also the focus was on the windshield and like you said, like hitting the branches and stuff. But I just kept thinking one of those monsters is just going to be in the middle of the road and he's going to mow it
I
down
was
or
thinking
something. Like
that too.
oh God, like it was just so stressful. Like the stress of everyone in that car, like I could feel it. It was too much. I was scared.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that I think that was one of the scarier moments in the show so far, because it's not about like a monster or a jump scare. It is about the anxiety
Mm-hmm.
of like what could happen in this life or death moment for one of the characters.
And someone that at this point we should care about, or the show hopes we care a lot
Yeah,
about. And
I
it's
like
just like, oh
Ellis.
no.
I like him more than I used to, but he's no Tien Chen. But
Oh my God, if it were her, I would be just
oh,
sobbing.
if it was Jade, you would be
Oh
beside
no.
yourself.
No.
Don't
Don't
even
even
speak
go
that.
there. How dare you?
But they make it. They get to the clinic, but Ellis is still in rough shape. He cannot breathe. He's losing a significant amount of blood. So inside the clinic, Mary comes to talk to Christy, and she tells her, I can go to Colony House for a bit if that's what Christy wants. But they get interrupted by Fatima banging on the door and screaming out to let them in. And they get inside, and Christy calls for Boyd and Kenny downstairs, and she starts to triage. And Boyd comes in to help, and he's freaking out because it's Ellis. And Fatima and Boyd are trying to keep Ellis calm, which I appreciate. Like, even though in his moment of freak out, he was like, nope, focus on my son. Focus on keeping him calm. Focus on him talking him through breathing. And Chrissy figures out that she thinks that there's blood in his chest cavity that's putting too much pressure on his lungs. And she needs to relieve that pressure. Christy Like, so Mary's like, "I can go get the thing," and Christy's like, you can't be in here because of the whole drug stuff." And then, Boyd what's going on? And so Christy does quickly let Mary help her. And Christy figures out that it is blood in there and not air filling up his chest cavity, which is like a good and a bad thing. Because if it was air, it's like a punctured lung, I think. I don't know. Medicine stuff that I don't understand. And Boyd takes Fatima away so that Christy and Mary have room to work. Christy makes an incision and does some other like medical stuff to relieve the pressure. And then like lots of blood comes out. So good thing because he can breathe again. Bad thing because blood loss. But Elgin, Boyd, and Fatima are in the other room. Fatima is freaking out, which fair. I mean, she's like, "I
Right.
almost lost him. I'm gonna lose him. I can't lose him." And Boyd calms her down. And then Christy comes in and lets them know what's going on. Ellis has lost a lot of blood. And if he doesn't get more blood soon, his organs will start to fail. So she's like, "Boyd, what's his blood type?" I really quickly though, I don't even know what my own blood type is. I'm gonna be so honest. Like,
I know
I don't.
I
mine.
know mine.
I
Okay.
used to donate blood monthly, so I know mine.
I'm a
I
weirdo then.
I'm I could have given blood to him,
Okay.
but granted, it is the most common blood type, so that's
Yeah.
not too surprising.
Yeah, I have no clue what my
Negative?
blood is.
Yeah. Or wait, no.
No, O
Did he say
negative's
negative
the
or
most
positive?
rare.
I
Yeah,
thought he
he
said
said
positive.
It was O positive,
oh, positive.
I think.
I mean, either way. Either way, yeah. Yikes.
Yes, but luckily
I
Positive
Boyd,
was pretty
can
sure he said negative, but I could be wrong.
I could have. It's one of those moments that I did not write down because
Yeah,
I don't even know my own blood type.
the only reason why, because I had the immediate thought process, because I'm pretty sure he said negative, as I was like, "Oh my god, the only person who can give him blood is another O negative, and it's literally the rarest blood type."
I thought he said positive, which is the most common.
I'm gonna be so honest, I don't even know my own blood type. I was not dedicating Boyd and Ellis's blood type to memory.
Mhm.
Yeah,
No.
that's valid.
I have a cat that just walked across my screen and tried to delete a bunch of. I'm doing a recap. Uh, so, um, Christy wants to do a blood transfusion with Boyd's blood, and then Boyd's like, "Wait a minute, the wormies.
Hold up.
Like we
Wait a minute.
we can't do this. Like
I've been
no."
telling you guys, I can't. No.
Yeah, and because like whatever I have, I don't want to give to Ellis. And Christy tells him to listen to what he's saying and that he's like, "I'm not crazy." He can feel them even if he can't see them. Fatima comes up and tells him like, "If you don't do this, then Alice is going to die. Even if what you're saying is true, it can't be worse than dying." And Boyd tells them that to tell that to the guy who did this to him and that there has to be another way. And then Kenny picks up a gun, picks up Boyd's gun from the table that's still sitting there, and he points it at Boyd and he tells him to sit down and let Christy do her work. And bless those wormies, because they have good timing. Because all of a sudden Boyd feels pain and he grabs his arm and they're visible. Mary sees them at first and she's like, I see them, and then Christy and Kenny both do too, and they're like, "Oh shit, you know what? You do have wormies. You aren't
You
crazy."
do have
Okay,
some
well,
worms.
occasionally the monsters in this show are like, "Let me help you out." Uh, but Kenny tells Boyd, "Give it to me." So like we know how to pass it, so just give it to me, and then we can deal with it after you save Ellis. Boyd doesn't want to. He says there is a nightmare happening under my skin, and we have no idea what would happen if he passes it to someone else. But then, like, you can see, like, there's a lot of light bulb moments happening. He
I
gets an
just wanna jump
idea.
in really quickly. If you guys remember when that whole, like, situation was going down, I made the comment of, "Don't make me choose between my sons."
Yes. Yeah, his two children. Boyd's got to make all these tough decisions. But like I see where Kenny was coming from because like if there are wormies, we don't necessarily want to give them to Ellis, who's, like, in the middle of a medical emergency, but, like,
Right.
Kenny is a young man strapping young man who's healthy at the moment, so give me the worms.
There are too many, like, self-sacrificing helpful people here. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
Well, we wouldn't
Who
know
is this,
anything
our
about
friend
that.
group?
Right?
So, but Boyd luckily gets an idea, and he heads up to the front door, and they're like, what are you doing?" He's
also, I wanna say he was walking to the front door where Elgin was sitting, and I was like, "Is he just gonna be like, 'Here's a new person I have 0 connection to, let me give him to Elgin.'" I was like, "No!" Obviously, Boyd would not wanna do that, but
Yes.
that thought crossed my mind.
I don't think he would, but, like, I mean, as opposed to his son, you never know what Boyd might do to his
That's
sons.
true.
Uh,
That's true.
so they're concerned with what he's doing, but he's like, it's got to go somewhere, and heads outside. So he starts calling out to the monsters. He's like, "Free blood, free meat. I'm right here.
I know you guys are out there. Why you hiding?
Come get
You've been
me."
looking for us, and I'm right here. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, "All you do is knock on our doors and windows. You want to play games? Well, I'm standing right here."
And while he was doing this, the only thing I could, like, think and say was just like, how's he expecting to get back in? Because whenever they grab people, it's not like it's just like "Oh, let me just, like, bite you real quick, and then you have a chance to escape." It's usually like an immediate rip out of something that you need in order to survive and then continue playing with you. Like, I don't know.
And he
I thought this was
kept
an
walking
insane.
further from the door.
Yeah, I was like, "Stay close to the door, bud. How are you gonna get back in?"
And I think it was Beans who said, like, "If you die, all that blood is just not gonna be good anymore, man." Like,
Right.
wormies or not, this isn't gonna work out well. Um, but several of the monsters come up, like, Smiley comes up first, and then several of the other ones are there.
And he's,
Cowboy.
like, encircled. So I'm like, "How are you getting back to the door?"
Yeah, and he keeps taunting them. And he cuts open his hand. Then he gets close enough to cut Smiley's throat. And this does not affect Smiley at all. Like, he's like, the smile
Okay.
dropped for like half a second and then he smiled again. He's like, cool. Which makes sense. Like, shooting them doesn't affect them, so makes
No,
sense.
Smiley literally, like, after getting cut, he's like, "I like this game." 'Cause
Yeah.
I feel like this whole thing, because at first I was like, "Why aren't they just attacking him?" And then I'm like, "You know what? No, I get it, because they're bored, and this is
Yes.
something different, so they're curious, and they wanna see what Boyd's gonna do."
And he did
Yeah.
say, "You wanna play
Absolutely.
games? Let's play."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, they are bored. They keep like they put that one rod through that poor girl's head to like
Yeah.
mess with her later. Like so they're kind of like entertain us, human.
Let's
Uh
see what you got, Boyd.
right? So Boyd puts his hand on Smiley's throat and says, "My blood is your blood, motherfucker." And and it works. Like we can hear the wormies transferring over and it's pretty painful for Boyd. And Smiley laughs and this is when he's like, "I like this game." And then he starts like closing in and the monsters start closing in on Boyd. Then Smiley starts screaming and or like screeching and his face changes to like his monster face. And all the other monsters are not looking at Boyd anymore. They're looking at Smiley cuz something is not right.
They're like, that doesn't look right."
Yeah. And then Smiley drops to the ground and continues to like screech in pain. And the monsters again have given up interest in Boyd, which like look, here's the deal. I'm going to be so honest, if I was one of those monsters, I would have killed Boyd like really quickly like they did Father Kotri just to like and done. You know, but they're like focused on Smiley.
They got too
Um
much on their minds.
yeah. And because nobody's paying attention to Boyd, Boyd like backs up. He watches out so he doesn't like bump into one of them and remind him he's there. But and then he runs back to the clinic. And the monsters like go and kind of stand around Smiley on the ground and they're watching him and then they like walk away from him and leave him there. So,
I just like, when we were watching this, I thought of just like, do you think the monsters are just gonna, like, avoid Boyd from now on? Just be like, we don't
right?
I don't really wanna
Monster
mess with that one.
Slayer.
Monster killer. Yeah, yeah, or they're gonna want vengeance.
That is also a thought. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it'll be real interesting. Well, and I was also kind of surprised that they just left Smiley there.
Yeah,
Like,
they just walked
that they
away.
didn't
They're just
even
like, "Oh."
yeah, like, they didn't take him
Like, that's
back anywhere.
unfortunate. Bye.
Right. It was really weird. So, they start the transfusion, and, like, that's going successfully, and we do see Mary take the towels, and she's, like, she takes the dirty ones, and she's, like, wiping her hands, and then she stops to stare at the drug cabinet because she would like a fix right now because it was stressful. It's a good thing that Christy found this information out when she did.
Yeah.
And then back at T and Chen's house, Donna and Ethan are headed down to the basement to store some of the food. And Ethan starts staring at the ceiling. And Donna asks him, like, hey, what's so interesting up there? Which, you know what? If a kid's staring at something creepily, I'm going to ask the same question.
Well, I was like, "What is he looking at up there? Is something about to happen? Is there gonna be a jump scare?"
Yeah.
Ugh,
No,
freaked me out.
we were all concerned. Like, Ethan, we cool? Uh, but Ethan asks, "What if this house falls down too?" And Donna's like, "It won't happen." And she's like, "Well, how do you know?" And she's, "I don't think your parents are gonna dig another giant hole in the floor."
They learned.
Yeah, sometimes parents are silly. Uh, and and then Ethan's like, "Can I tell you a secret?" She's like, "Of course you can." And he tells her that I told my mom and dad that I wasn't scared, but I am.
It was so sad.
Yeah, and he's like, "I don't wanna be on a quest anymore. I wanna go home." Poor poor baby boy Ethan. Yeah, that would be so tough.
Yeah.
And Donna asks if she's like, "Can I tell you a secret?" And she's like, "I'm scared too, but that's a good thing. My mom told me when I was your age that fear is something that lives inside us just like hope and joy and love. They are all things that make us special. But fear is the most important one of all because without it, we wouldn't know how to be brave. Fear is what makes us heroes." And then Ethan gives Donna a hug, and it is the sweetest thing.
It
I
is very sweet.
I loved that.
I did too, but also I was like, maybe we shouldn't be telling this 9-year-old to be a hero. Like, fear is one of the most important, like, feelings because it, like, keeps us alive by making us not do things that could get us killed. And instead, she's telling him, like, be brave.
Yeah.
He's
So there's
9. Let him be scared and not do the scary things.
more of like, don't be an idiot. Trust fear. Run.
Yes. Lean into it and figure out why does that make you scared. And if it's something that like is an irrational fear, then you can be brave. But if it's something like, oh, there's monsters outside, I shouldn't go outside because that's scary, stay inside.
Yeah. So they finish the transfusion at the clinic. Ellis wakes up. He can breathe, which is good, and is in the clear, but in a lot of pain. Fatima is sitting next to him and he asks her, like, "Are you still mad at me?" And she tells him to shut up.
Yeah, using that stabbing to get out of all the relationship issues you guys got going on.
Yeah.
That's healthy.
Way to go, Ellis. And then Fatima, like, gets up and she's like, I'll be right back," to go, like, compose herself. And she breaks down. And Christy comes over and comforts her. But as both of you pointed out, she did not go far enough away.
Just like in the doorway where he can still see her.
So,
I was
but
so upset about
she's
that. I'm like,
freaking out.
he can still see you. Like, you know that,
Right.
right? Like, he can still see you."
She's, like, a little off to the side, but not near enough. Uh, and she says she almost lost him, and then the wormies and Boyd and the whole thing, like, the whole place is getting to her. And then Fatima asks Christy something and, like, "Can I ask you something? But you have to promise not to tell anyone." Christy's like, "Of course." And
Of people asking you things that are awkward questions.
part of being in the medical field.
Yeah, I just kept thinking of, like, when Sarah asked her that question of, like,
Oh,
"Would you
right.
do anything?" I was like, "Please don't be another one of those."
And, yeah, Fatima, are you hearing voices too? No, Fatima is not. She's asking about a pregnancy test, which
Dun, dun, dun.
babies in demon land. Uh,
I'm sure the crying baby won't, you know, bring out the demons.
Yeah. Oof. How do you keep... Well, you nail the windows shut. Damn it,
Yeah.
Frank, you nail the window shut.
At least it's not like a quiet place thing of like you've got to be quiet to stay safe stay
Yeah.
safe. That would be bad.
Would
Or
be
like
so bad.
pre-talisman. That would be so bad.
Pre-talisman, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Pre-talisman, you got nothing. That baby's giving you up. But Boyd is in the front room looking out the window, and Kenny comes up and says, I should have listened to you and trusted you. And Boyd says it all worked out, and that's what matters. Mm. And they're looking at Smiley lying on the ground, and he hasn't moved, but they aren't sure that he's dead yet because it's still nighttime. So we shall see,
He's just
I'm
playing
sure,
dead.
in the next episode.
Yeah.
But that is the end of this episode. So any thoughts on what's coming next? Or
There better be an autopsy.
yeah,
Right.
That's all.
That's what I was saying.
100%. If there is an opportunity to learn about the thing that is trying to kill you, you take it.
There better be an autopsy, and we better get an episode that's all about Jade, because I am very upset that there was not a single shot of Jade in this.
No Jade. No Jade at all. I'm sure that you will get plenty of Jade in the next episode. They cannot go more than one episode without him.
They shouldn't go a single episode without him, in my opinion, but I'll let it slide because this was a really good episode.
I feel like I wanted this episode like 2 episodes ago.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
Because this is the 6th episode, which means there's only 4 more.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, how are we gonna... Like, we got an alien autopsy, we got Jade, we got these Ankui babies, we got Jade and the
Creepy
symbol.
and cooey children.
I mean, we got so much stuff happening right now that
Yeah.
we got Randall, I'm sure, being weird. We got Jim going off on his tangent about the people watching and listening.
We do have Jade with his hallucinations and the potential like symbols that turned that guy into a weirder version.
Yeah, he changed.
Yeah.
We've got food shortages. We got what's gonna happen to Dale.
Yeah, what's gonna happen to Dale? He did stab someone.
Can't put him in the box. Can't, because what would you do? Like, you can't put him in the box and not put Sarah in the box.
Yeah, I don't
That's
think
what I was
anyone's ever
just
going
gonna
in the box
say.
again.
Yeah.
Or Frank.
So yeah.
Frank wanted it at the end.
Boyd tried to get Frank
Yeah.
not to go in the box.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think I also would have wanted this like 2 episodes ago because we finally have people communicating, and it's like we've gone 1.5 seasons with people just being stupid about sharing their instances of like weird shit happening to them. It's like, why?
Yeah. I mean, as much as like I understand why we had the episode with the girl with the rod in her head, because that was Boyd losing his mind a little bit there, where he's like, is this all in my head? Am I in a coma? Like, all of that. But like, I feel like that could have been a smaller part of a bigger episode that brought us to this quicker.
When you started to say that could have been, I thought you were going to say that could have been an email. I was like, damn, you know what? You're not wrong, but also they don't have email access here. Come on, Laura. Should have been a newsletter is what you mean.
Right. Yeah. Because that was, I mean, but that took up, I don't know. Like that was not my favorite episode, and I feel like it took up a lot of time
Yeah.
in the show.
Well,
So,
and I feel like they're trying to get us onto this whole like, oh, there's like some organization, whether it be like government or otherwise, that's like setting up an experiment, because like Jim's also going through this whole like everything's fabricated theory of his, and it's like, if it is that, like, they better execute that reveal well, because I'll be upset.
yeah.
But also I don't think it's that. Like, I think these monsters are real monsters, and there's no way that
Yeah.
like the faraway trees aren't real. Like, yeah, I think
I think, and I understand where Jim's coming from in this. I'm gonna slightly side with Jim for a moment, in the vaguest way possible. But I understand, because he's like, I understand, because like, look, I'm a weirdo who has books on different government experiments because I think it's crazy and I think it's interesting. So
Mhm.
like, to look at that and be like, you know what, this could technically be on par with some of the crazy things they've done. And because that's something that he can rationalize and wrap his head around, right?
I'm gonna be so for real and say you lost me when you said you had books because then my thought was just book club.
You guys should look up the book Elephants on LSD. It's really good. It's got a lot of experiments that scientists and the government have done over the years.
Interesting.
They did dose an elephant with LSD to
I
see
was
what
gonna
would
say, was
happen.
that like a metaphor
Nope,
or
they did that.
actual? Oh my gosh, literal elephants on LSD.
Yep,
Awesome.
yep. They got science. So
Oh
so
man.
so I can see where Jim's coming from. I don't think Jim is right. I
Yeah. No, I can definitely see where he got to that conclusion, especially with like what he was saying about like, oh, like I make roller coasters and we do a lot of stuff to make you think that this is happening when it's all just illusions or just like tricks. And so like yeah. But and I guess like if drugs are involved, that could explain a lot of the hallucinations and thinking like teleportation's happening, but I think I think that would just be a lot to put together.
Yes, I
I'd be
agree.
straight up
I
mad, I'll be
agree.
so
But I'm
honest.
sure
Well, I would it would need to be, like, super explained, like, how do you loop that town? How did you do that?
right. There's so much stuff. Well, and that's yeah, there's so much stuff that doesn't make any sense to that. Like it's too impossible. Like Jim, you would never be able to make a roller coaster that did this. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Well, yeah, and the shooting the monsters and not having them go down, like, if they were not real monsters, like, without body armor, because some of them get shot in the head,
yeah.
how would that work?
Yeah. No, unless like yeah, no, it's too crazy.
Yeah,
Jim, it's just too crazy.
there are just too many things that aren't right.
Yeah. So, with that, we will see if we get an alien autopsy in the next episode. Which yeah, is would be crazy. Which would be crazy if they didn't do it. I'm just going to be so
I would be
honest.
really upset if they didn't. I'd be like, "This is your opportunity. What are you doing?" Like, I know you guys are bad with communication and, like, have stupid things just to keep the plot moving, but this would keep the plot moving. You have to do it.
Right.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm sure we'll see something revolving the dead body. And
I I wanna see them poke it with a stick.
percent would. You need to know you're not gonna walk up. You don't know. You don't know how these monster bodies react. Like, what if you went up and touched it and like all of a sudden it's like claws came out and stabbed you and now you're dead because you didn't do things from a safe distance.
Yeah,
I'm
Throw
fully
rocks at
there
it
for poking
first.
it with a stick.
thank you. Right. Let's get some projectiles, and then we'll
Throw
get
some
closer,
rocks,
like,
and then
keep
we'll get closer,
checking.
poke it.
Well, we
Get a
will
little
see
closer, kick its
what is
foot.
in the next. Yeah, yeah. Stay away from its face and hands for sure. Um,
Yeah, whoever has to carry that thing in, oof, wouldn't be me.
mm, yeah. So we will see what happens in that next episode. Thank you everyone for listening to Ope, I Found a Weird Show, and we cannot wait to continue recapping next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.